Okay, I'll keep this brief. I will try. Anyway, okay. I wouldn't have comprehended this if I hadn't seen the review of Duckman and would have been reminded about it. As the review, I binge watched the entire series or what I could find on YouTube for a couple days. And then immediately after that, until 4 a.m., binge watched Beastars. Fantastic shows, by the way. Highly recommend both of them. Yes, there was a line in America the Beautiful episode where Duckman tries to track down well, basically what it is like a a physical representation of the spirit of America. You know, the American dream. How people trying, or people in different decades, how they believe or comprehend what the American dream means to them. For some, it's Americana. Your family with the white, 2.5 kids, the white picket fence, the uh, kind of submissive wife. Uh, and in later decades, each person represents a decade that America has dated or been with. Represents like a different decade. So it's the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and 90s. And each one is kind of taking them for granted. Each one has like their own hang-ups and abusions of the American dream. You know, they achieved their dream, yes, the lifestyle they wanted, but they're just ravenous abandoned of just screwing over everyone and everything in order to actually obtain it and perpetuate it. Anyway, it's a highly good show. I highly recommend it. But the first one was the 1950s guys. I hope you can hear me over the fan. The 1950s guys. He says that they would watch movies of different minor of what was it non-threatening minorities, who would sing and dance, because what they would do, they would have them as the musicians, pretty much, because it's I was really able to really do anything back in the 50s. Apparently, there's this thing called racism, folks, and the only real way you can really get someone to a higher billing in a story was to give them a musician musician job, basically the pianist. I don't like saying pianist, so I call them pianists, uh, or celloists, or cellists. If you wanted, it's a cello, so you'd be a celloist. Anyway, so that's when it struck me out of the blue when I'm at work one day. I'm working, I'm making pizza boxes and blah blah blah. And She-Ra season 5 has just ended. I binge watched that. It was good. It has good points. But something stuck in my head that I just could not quite understand, and I kind of voiced it a little bit in the She-Ra season 5 rant, where the men do not act like men. The women don't even act like women. They act like tomboys. Granted, you're in a war, so you have to act like tough, but like no one really acts like a woman. The men don't even act like men. They act like something out of a theater troupe of thespians, and I'm like, what the fuck's your problem? Like, is there a fucking man anywhere in the show? The answer to that is no. The only real, you know, person that actually acts like a man, that actually is a threat to anyone, and I'm doing air quotes on purpose here, trust me, is Hordak and Horde Prime. Because what are they supposed to represent? The oppression. The male oppression. Get it? They're the only ones that have anger, remorse, full range of emotion, particularly ego. No one else has ego. Not really. So Horde and Horde Prime are so Hordak and Horde Prime are the only real male characters, like full blown male characters. The Sea Captain is he's a fucking pansy. I mean, he tries to be brave, but it's like why am I rooting for this asshole? It's like he's just this pathetic excuse for a male character, and it's like he's just so non-threatening, huh? And then I thought about Bo, and I'm like, you know, Bo, because now he's black now, also is incredibly non-threatening, huh? Strange that the other male characters are they have range of emotions. They get angry, but they don't get upset. That's the thing. It's like, well, I'm holding a grudge, so we're just not talking. It's like, punch something, show that shit gets to you. We see things that bother you, but it's not peaking like it's supposed to. Like with Catra and Adora and any other character there. Oh, I'm sorry, the female characters that are there. When they have those peaks and valleys, when something peaks and emotion peaks, and it's like, ah! Like a real character would. You would have those moments because you're dealing with these emotions, and you're going to want to punch something at some point, which they do. See Catra rip up a picture. We see these characters act out. Bo doesn't. He keeps his level-headedness. He's non-threatening. And it's like, yeah, it's exactly how any male would act. But then that's why he's in the core group. He's rational. As rational as neutered would be my opinion. Because it's like, look, if Horde Prime can act like, if Hordak and Horde Prime can act like, what's his name? The, latest guy, what's his name? The guy from Star, what the fuck's his name? What's his name? Driver? What's his name? Edwin Driver? David Driver? I forget, but he's the new guy in the new Star Wars film. He was the antagonist guy. It was Ben Solo from, it was Kylo Ren, sorry. It's Kylo Ren from Star Wars. Yeah. So, if these guys are allowed to have, shit fits, well, why not Bo, at least? Because his character would at least kind of support that a little bit. But it doesn't. So that's when it struck me at work, is that Bo is a non-threatening black male character. And it's like, huh, I thought we were past this over 50 years ago. Because I thought we've gotten beyond this. We're only allowed to have non-threatening minority characters. I thought we were past that. You know? And it's like he's only allowed certain range. Like he's passive aggressive. He's just holding it together because he's just so mature. I'm guessing it's supposed to come off as he's more mature than everyone else. But honestly, if we don't see him in private just kind of lose his shit for at least a moment, it doesn't feel legitimate. His problems don't seem not as more legitimate than everyone else, or as more real or more impactful than anyone else's. It just feels like he's not acting like a typical male or a male at all. He's not egocentric. He's not high on himself, thank God. He doesn't lash out even in private, so it feels like a more neutered character. And don't say because he's young. It's like, you're young, you act out a lot more than you do as an adult. It just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right at all. So again, it's more man, not, yeah, basically oppression, because all the male characters are all neutered psychologically. He constantly proclaims his love and kind of keeps hitting on her, but he does it in a endearing way, pathetically endearing way, and it's like, oh god. And it's like he can't do some grand gesture like, I don't know, save the day, like do something heroic, like throw yourself in front of a blaster or something, or do the self-sacrifice move like Scorpina did, and it's like, I'll hold them off, you go and run and save yourself. Something along those lines. But he doesn't. He doesn't even get brainwashed. The girl he likes gets brainwashed, and he stands there with the... I see this trope so fucking often. Through the power of love and friendship. My god, when I saw that in the Sonic film, I thought, and... Well, I'm more out than what I was to begin with, because that was just stupid. But yeah, the DuckTales, the Robot Boy episode, Gyro just stands there with arms open, and it's like, through the power of friendship, you will not kill me, and you will stop being an evil robot. Yeah, like, that's fucking realistic. Like, if you're gonna play on, play human emotions and archetypes and relationship dynamics, you gotta be real about that shit. And this isn't a fantasy. Well, it's a drama, fantasy, sci-fi is what it is. But if you're going to base it on human interactions without magic involved in this episode, then it doesn't go that way. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. You cannot add power of love and friendship in a sci-fi episode or themed episode and expect it to work. It's illogical. The power of friendship with any of the Shadow Realm stuff, with her name Libby, then yeah, that would make sense. Because it's magic. It's ethereal and all that. So, yeah. Having that kind of pop up in She-Ra is kind of... Well, they show it to be the implants be a bit glitchy, and certain kind of neural or psychological inputs or impacts, or physical impacts, can tend to, jump, jitter the connection, so the person can kind of blink in and out of the control a little bit. So we've seen that happen, so that makes a lot more sense. But calling it out more on the power of love and friendship is a bit more of a further leap than I'm willing to go on that. If you want to see the person struggle, then sure, fine. Or subconscious, but maybe, but you can't do that with all of them. It just kind of comes off as cheap writing, trying to hit those emotional high notes, but it's a low sucker punch is what it really is. And he does not deserve her because he has done nothing to deserve her love. I'm sorry, Sea Captain. You're just not there yet. Trust me on that. Poe and Glimmer reconciling their friendship and thus becoming a couple. Okay. They're best friends. I don't know what the fuck else they're gonna do. But, other than the reconciliation, them becoming romantic, I couldn't give a shit. Catherine Adora's relationship and redemption, like I said before. They both act more like tomboys than females. Their redemption, their dynamic is Broken Heart. First season was Broken Heart. That's what that was. 2, 3, and 4 were the writers trying to base this on not Broken Heart, but jealousy. It's jealousy, and jealousy. Final season. Now we have nothing left to lose. No. The underlying problem was a broken heart. Sorry. So we're going back to that now. Yeah, thanks. So, yes. The male characters in She-Ra were being shafted in order to make it more... It was just more of a mandate, what it felt like. The only time a male can actually act like an actual male emotionally, or even psychologically, is the bad guys. Everyone else who's on the good side acts like they kind of act like me. They're over the top. And it's like, nobody really acts like that. I do it because it gives me a range, and it gives me a chance to flex my emotional and projective capability. Trust me, I need this. Trust me on that. I need to exercise this. So yeah, making all the male characters non-threatening is just a drawback to the series, in my opinion. that's all I have to say. Hope I'm proving a good point to you, and you guys get that. I'm getting this across to you rather well. I hope I'm explaining this right. I believe I am, but anyway, take care, and as always, I will see you next year at a convention. Darn it. Alright, bye.